The sun rises hard over Bataan. No breeze, no shade, just the weight of heat pressing down on a line of prisoners, American and Filipino soldiers stripped of everything but their will to keep walking. Some are barefoot, some bleeding, all exhausted beyond comprehension. The ground burns, their skin blisters, their mouths open but no words come out, only the shuffling of feet, the hollow coughs, and the silence of the men already too far gone to speak. A soldier stumbles. He doesn't get up. The Japanese guards don't wait. A rifle stock cracks across the back of his skull. The line doesn't stop. This isn't a march, it's a death sentence. April 9th, 1942. After 3 brutal months of siege, General Edward King surrenders the Bataan Peninsula. Nearly 80,000 Allied troops, most of them Filipino, are ordered to lay down their arms. Malaria, dysentery, starvation. By the time surrender comes, many can barely stand. But they believe they've survived, that they'll be treated according to the rules of war. They're wrong. There are no trucks, no transport, only the jungle road, and a single merciless command: walk. They're herded like animals, packed shoulder to shoulder under the tropical sun. Water is denied, so is rest. Those who ask are beaten. Those who stop are killed. By the end of the first day, men begin to fall. Some collapse from heat stroke, others from disease. Some just fall and never rise. Their comrades step over them. There's no choice. To stop is to die. Filipino civilians try to pass food or water to the column. Some succeed. Many are shot in front of their children. At one point, Japanese officers offer a single bucket of water to hundreds of prisoners. The first few reach it. The rest are beaten away with rifle butts and bayonets. The road from Mariveles to San Fernando is 65 miles long, but it feels endless. The heat hits 110 degrees. The air is thick with rot, with dust, with death. Bodies pile in the ditches. Prisoners are tied to trees and left to die as warnings. One American soldier breaks ranks and runs for a stream. He's shot before he makes it 5 feet. Another tries to lift a collapsed comrade. Both are executed. The cruelty isn't just permitted, it's deliberate. At San Fernando, the survivors are crammed into steel boxcars, 100 men at a time, packed so tight they can't sit or breathe. The temperature soars, men pass out standing up. By the time the train doors open, the floor is slick with blood and sweat and death. The last leg is on foot again, another 10 miles to Camp O'Donnell. Those who reach it don't find relief. Camp O'Donnell becomes a prison of disease and despair. There are no medical supplies, no food. Men die by the hundreds every day. The dead are buried in shallow mass graves, or not at all. The stench spreads across the camp like fog. Some try to escape. Few succeed. Others succumb to madness. A few simply lie down one night and never wake up. Of the 76,000 men forced into the march, more than 10,000 died along the way. Thousands more perished in the weeks that followed. Many of the dead were never identified. Their stories, like their names, lost in the heat and dust of the jungle. But the march lived on, in the survivors who carried the scars, in the testimonies gathered after the war, and in the memory of a betrayal that never should have happened. The Bataan Death March wasn't just a tragedy, it was a crime, a deliberate act of cruelty designed to punish men for surrendering and to strip them of every last shred of dignity. But even in that, the captors failed, because the men of Bataan endured. They carried one another. They whispered prayers in the dark. They stood when they could have laid down. They remembered the faces of the fallen and made sure the world would too. And decades later, long after the road had been paved over and the bodies buried, the survivors stood again. In interviews, in courtrooms, in front of monuments, not just to speak of pain, but of perseverance. They didn't march to die. They marched so others would know what was done and never let it happen again. Thank you for listening to Last Post History. Subscribe for more stories of sacrifice, survival, and the truths war won't let us forget.